What is up, guys? Today we're going to be covering why the Atlanta Hawks are so bad and what they can do about it. They have been one of the worst teams in the East this season. They're not in the play-in race. They're 11th seed in the East, and after being projected to be pretty high in the play-in, like a 7th, 5th, or 6th seed by many at the start of the season. I've always been very low on Trae Young and this team as a whole. Um, considering they just traded first round Dejounte Murray, not just, but like the year before, right? And they stayed stagnant. They're a team that's only slightly above 500, and now this team is losing all hope of getting to a championship, revitalizing that conference finals run they had. And they just aren't good. Trae Young's been incredibly good on paper when it comes to counting stats, 27 and 11 assists, but he hasn't been good when it comes to efficiency, 43 and 37 for MD when he's supposed to be a great three-point shooter. They have a lot of great offensive players such as Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Jalen Johnson, but they don't have too many good defensive players or young role players. They have a lot of really old players. Their most recent draft pick Kobe Buffkin isn't getting too many minutes. AJ Griffin had a good rookie year last year, but has fallen out of the rotation. He's getting limited playing time. Um, they have had players like Jalen Johnson who has broken out, and that's a really good bright spot for this team. But there are players who are supposed to take that jump, like DeAndre Hunter, who just hasn't. DeJounte Murray's been solid. He's been much more efficient than Trae. But here are my suggestions for solving this problem. I'm gonna have to go with trading Dejounte Murray. I don't think your two best players should be guards, right? And my thing is, I think he'd be a great player on a team like the Lakers or Pelicans for some solid rotational players. Some players they could be trying to get: Rui Hachimura, Larry Nance Jr., Cam Reddish, who's a really good defensive piece and has been rough on the Lakers, but has a lot of defensive potential. Matt Ryan, or a second or first. And all these trades could add a bunch of defense, which would help them build role players around, not add too much star power. Because I feel like having more defense is just key. They have very little above average defensive players. And then my second option is go into full rebuild mode, trade Trae, and trade for a bunch of young players. Um, um, I think the young players could be really good for them. I feel like they might need to just be able to blow it up. I don't know if they should because Trae Young still is relatively young. He's still under 25, if I'm correct. Um, but if they can get good young players from this trade, I think that would be like really good. Like they can trade like to the Heat, who have been looking for a star for a while, for someone like Tyler Hero and Nikola Jovic, something like that, or like a team like the 76ers, which could be okay if they added. Actually, I don't know about the 76ers, but there are many teams that could want Trae Young, even though he's a bit of a questionable player at some points in his career. He can definitely he can definitely pass the ball well. He can shoot the three if he has better shot selection. Can do a lot. So I think he could be definitely a player they could just like move on from and go into a rebuild. Also trade Dejounte Murray, but I feel like that would be the option I would lean towards the least out of my three options on this list because he still has a lot of young talent. Where Trae Young's still pretty young. Dejounte Murray isn't old. They have AJ Griffin. I just don't think they should be blowing it up for their stars. Bogdan Bogdanovic isn't old. Jalen Johnson's young, right? They don't want to get rid of their stars. I think they should be okay. My thing that I think could also work is trading Trae Young, but trying to stay competitive. Trade for like a player like that could like they could keep them competitive, but also not um not not still have Trae, but keep them competitive. Like they trade to the I don't know Lakers for like a player like D'Lo and Cam Reddish and like the first. Um, or they could trade him to a team like the Magic, which I think is a bit of an interesting trade to think about because the Magic are elite offensively, and Trae Young is a really good offensive or elite defensively, but really not the greatest offensively. So I think Trae Young's a really potential great offensive player for them. Um, and they don't have the best point guard play. Where they had Markel Fultz starting, who isn't the greatest. He's not. He can't really shoot the ball. He can't really do a lot of things that you would want him to do. But he's still a really solid player that could be good on the on the Hawks, along with players like Goga Batadze, who could be a good player, and maybe some picks to keep this team as like a solid team because the team can't get much worse. And if you have two stars, two players who are all star caliber, and you're 14 and 20, you can't get much worse than that. And they need to be able to fix that. Like this team is almost worse than Utah Jazz. This team is just really not good. It's up there with Brooklyn Nets, who I don't even know what the Brooklyn Nets are doing. I might have to make a video on them because they're getting pressed. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like my suggestions. Peace out. Bye bye.